So I want to talk to you guys about Tiny Planet photography, which is where you use a consumer 360 camera like the Ricoh Theta V, like they have around the corner there, and you can turn them into amazing, beautiful tiny planets like you see here, which are very social media friendly, and it's just a really good way of showing an entire environment in one single photo. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do it and how I'm able to produce consistently excellent content for social media and for online very quickly and easily. And it's something that I've been able to turn from a hobby into a career within the scope of 1 to 2 years. It's now my full-time job to make these silly little things, and yeah, I'm just placed in a really good place in the photography market right now because of that. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about me. So I started on Instagram in 2014, just posting normal photos, like landscapes, portraits, stuff like that. And I found that a lot of other photographers were posting the same thing. So whenever you post a photo that looks like everything else, it doesn't really stand out on an Instagram grid, does it? So this is when I discovered my first Theta M15 camera, which is similar to this one, the very first version of the Ricoh Theta camera. And this is a 360 camera. It shoots in all directions. And when I saw it, I fell in love. I saw the potential it had, and I posted my very first Tiny Planet photo just here, which is a photo of me and my budgie, and it got a really good response. And slowly, I started, day after day, I posted Tiny Planets. I went to new locations, I traveled around the world, and I posted every single day, and slowly I built an Instagram account and a following, and it snowballed to the point that I'm luckily now one of the top 360 Tiny Planet accounts. Because I consistently posted good unique content that really stood out when viewing it on an Instagram grid and on a Facebook grid. So this is a really unique, innovative technology that can get you noticed online if that's something you're interested in doing. So let me explain the mechanics of how a 360 works. So firstly, we start off. Here is the 360 camera. Unlike every other camera that you might be familiar with, this camera sees everything. You can't hide from it. It's like having Google Street View in your pocket. It's got a lens on the front, it's got a lens on the back. So it captures everything, and it's very simple. So it's as simple as just turning it on like this. It's got a big button there, press the button. And there, instantly, we have a 360 photo which we can download to our phone or computer. So instantly, this turns into this, which is a double fisheye. So there we have two 180-degree lenses. So we have a 180-degree field of view on each side. So as you can see, this has captured this whole environment. This is the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. Captured everything with this camera. So the next step of this workflow is we then turn that into something that's more photo-like, and we call this an equirectangular photograph. So this has then taken those two spheres and altered them into one consistent looking image. So this is the next step. However, it's good, but it's not really optimized for viewing or for social media. The next step is we turn it into an interactive 360 photo, like we have here. So you might have seen these on Facebook and elsewhere online, where you can then look around your 360 photo in any direction. So this is what it was like to stand there in the shoes of where I was standing at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. So this is a really good way to capture a moment with such clarity. You see everything in every direction. It's a very good way to preserve moments in time, and for me, I use it as a great nostalgic tool. So in 10 years from now, when I'm looking back where I was at 10 years ago, I can see it with such clarity and detail. So this is a really exciting tool. When I first discovered it, I totally fell in love, and I saw the potential in the kind of ability to capture such detail. With normal cameras, right, you're only capturing a tiny little window. And that doesn't really accurately represent an entire environment. So this is where 360 changes the game. So now that we have this 360 photo, we bring it into an app like Theta Plus Video, which we then use to morph into a tiny planet. So this is the photo we had before. It's now looking really good and attractive for Instagram, for Facebook, and how cool is that? That looks so fun and silly and eye-catching. And this style of photography is what has allowed me to grow my own brand, my social media accounts, to the point that I can now turn this into my career, because I've been able to utilize the 360 technology, and it's very fast. I can do this in seconds. And you know what the cool thing is? there's more than one way to edit one single 360 photo. You don't have to do it like this. With that same example from before, I can turn into this. So 2 different photos for the price of 1. So how cool is that? I had 2 really good Instagram posts, this one and this one, from the exact same photo. Because the 360 camera captures everything, you can then morph it however you like, and there are 1,000 different combinations. I found these were the 2 best according to this specific setup, but for me, I can really use it as a tool to experience endless creativity because there's so many ways you can shoot and edit with 360s. So I just want to show you guys a few different Tiny Planet styles that I think you'll find really interesting, and these are photos that I can turn over in 30 seconds. So once you learn how to do it, you can make cool posts like this. I know it's very silly, I have a massive head, but content like this gets extreme engagement online. People respond to them really well and they really pop out on that Instagram grid. Unlike everything else, which is like a landscape, a photo of coffee, a selfie, something like this really does stand out a lot amongst all the other photos. Then you can do other cool stylized effects, like this silhouette here. I utilized the manual exposure of the Theta V, and you know what? This was in broad daylight, this shot. Broad daylight, but I turned the shutter speed right up to, I think, 1/5000th of a second, and I made it look like it was sunset. So you can do basically everything you could have done with a normal camera, you can now then apply that to 360. Here I am in Sydney, my hometown, and to the left of us is the Harbour Bridge, and to the bottom of the planet we have the Opera House. Again, this is a full 360 environment turned into one cool little tiny planet. Here I am during my latest visit to Hawaii. Got some surfboards, got the beach there. And the cool thing about this is that everything I saw on that day is present in this photo. There's nothing missing. It's not just capturing a small square of my face or of the ocean or of the surfboards. You're seeing everything from where I was standing, which is really, really cool. So tiny planets are also great for group photos. Here we have about 20 or 30 people in one inverted 360 photo. Normally, group photos are really hard, right? When you have 10 or more people, it's hard to actually take a photo with that many people. You have to get your arm out really far, and it's like, oh, can you take a photo for me? And then you get the waiter in the restaurant to stand about 20 feet back so you can fit everyone in. But with a 360 camera, it changes the game because you can capture everyone and they can be very close to the camera because the camera sees everything. You don't have that spatial distance as an obstacle. Here's another group photo, just as simple as this. Just put the camera up, get people to stand around you, take a photo, and you end up with this. It's like, kind of looks like a Christmas bauble that you'd see on a Christmas tree, just filled with people. Here I am in Alcatraz 1 week ago. I think that's quite cool. I was able to really utilize those bars. I shot this in HDR using the Theta V, and this is one of my favorite ever photos that I've shot. Just turned out really, really well. Looks like the Eye of Sauron. Really happy with that one. Got a really good response on social media. This one is from my recent visit to Samoa. And can anyone guess where I may have put the camera here? No? So I placed the camera right on this beam here. It's resting there. Took the photo wirelessly. That's why my hand's behind my back. I'm activating it through my phone. Take the photo, and then I leave my audience wondering how I took the photo. So that's just another cool way to use creativity in a way that leaves your audience wondering how you did it. Here's me in Brisbane, Australia, my home country, next to a Ferris wheel. All of these photos are so unique because have you guys seen anything like these? Yet I'm posting these every single day to Instagram and getting a massive response because they're just so unique. And I'm utilizing this new technology that a lot of people don't know about yet. And I've been able to experience a lot of career growth because of that. I'm consistently creating new content and innovative content. This is one of my favorite ones. When I was parasailing in Fiji, I just landed and I attached my Theta S at the time to the top bar of the boat there. I activated it wirelessly from my phone and turned it into this beautiful tiny planet. That's one of my favorites. I think that turned out super, super well. Another one in Melbourne. Again, this is a very average location, but in Tiny Planet mode, it looks absolutely stunning. So I was really able to utilize the full 360 in getting extreme symmetry. Tiny Planets are great for symmetry, showing off architecture of this old building. It would have been really hard to photograph this building otherwise, because there's just so much detail all around, and with a phone or with a DSLR, you just can't capture every little bit without taking 16 photos. So I was able to capture this full environment with just one click of a button. I find that really incredible. Next style is inside-outside. This is another really good use of 360, being able to combine two worlds into one. When you have a window, here we have nice, warm, inviting interior and a cold, harsh exterior, both cohesively in the same photo. Here I am in a plane, just sticking the camera out the window. Well, not literally out the window, but against the window. And looks, again, that looks really cool. It's just over LA at night time. Turned out really, really well. So the next style is using a selfie stick. Now, a selfie stick is one of the best tools in your 360 arsenal because it really gives you a massively high viewpoint, a kind of a deceivingly high viewpoint. In this photo here, I held the camera on a selfie stick, and you know how high it was? It was about this high. But how high does it look? It looks like it was shot from a drone. So using a selfie stick, just getting a little bit of elevation makes a world of difference. Here's another one I use a selfie stick for. Again, at massive elevation, it looks like a shot from a helicopter or a drone, but it's just a little bit above my head. So a selfie stick, as much as I hate admitting that I own a selfie stick, and I actually own about 5 or 6 of them, embarrassingly, it's one of the best tools in my arsenal. So next, we have nighttime shooting. So again, techniques you can use with DSLR photography, you can also use with Tiny Planet. So I did a light painting here, I did a 10-second exposure, and I wrote 2017 in the sky. It was New Year's 2016, 2017, and I was able to get that beautiful Tiny Planet by utilizing that nighttime feature, with which cameras like the Theta V, the Insta360 and a few others do have. Here's a nighttime photo where I used a 1-second exposure, and we just stood really still. So that turned out really well. It showed off the Yarra River in Melbourne really, really nicely. Just brought out those colors and that dynamic range, doing that 1-second exposure. So nighttime 360s can look amazing if you get them right, although they do take a bit longer than the average photo. This one, can you guess what I did here? So I call this one the Dandelion. Put the camera on the ground, I did a 10-second exposure, got a flashlight, and it went like this for 10 seconds. Turned out as a dandelion. That's pretty cool. The next style I want to talk about is the inverted planet. So before, we're working with a planet on the inside. This time, the ground is on the outside. And this is one of my most popular Tiny Planets ever. This was in Melbourne. Nice, beautiful graffiti, and it just works so nicely when I inverted that photo. Really catchy and punchy on social media. Whenever you can create something like this, you're going to get eyes on your work. Here I am next to a poker machine. Just held it up to the screen, took a photo, inverted it. This is one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. I took this in Winnipeg when I was last there, up in Canada. And this is an old dead forest called the Assiniboine Forest. And again, wirelessly, I took this photo and I inverted it. And how nice does that look? Those sharp spines all pointing towards the center. And this took me 30 seconds to shoot and 30 seconds to edit. How powerful is that? And now that's an image I can use forever. And I edited it purely on my phone. Another one. How might you guess I shot this one? Where did I put the camera? Any guesses? Floating platform? No. Well done. Yes, selfie stick. I held a selfie stick in front of me, angled it down, had it about 2 or 3 feet in front of me, and then I was able to invert that 360 into this watery tunnel, almost like a whirlpool. So again, just a tiny little bit of creativity leads to extraordinary results. Here's another nighttime inverted planet. again, I just did like maybe a half-second exposure, just really utilize this environment. This was in Sydney, my hometown. Took a cool photo for Instagram, got 600 or 700 likes on it. Here I am in Venice Beach 2 weeks ago. This ended up being my most popular Instagram photo ever. Could not predict it at all. I find with Instagram, often you think something's going to do super well and it doesn't, and then you think something isn't going to go well and it does. For me, that was this one. I was even reluctant to post it, yet I got 1,200 likes on this photo. Was not expecting that at all. So, just shows you a little bit of creativity. Just try something new, try a few different angles whenever you're shooting with a camera or a 360 camera, and you can end up with amazing social media posts like this. The next style is inverted object planet. So here I'm surrounded by billiard balls. This was super simple. So I had a triangle of billiard balls. I held my camera to it and I went like this. Took a photo, inverted it, and ended up like this. Again, that pops out so nicely on your Instagram grid. Any way you post it online, it's really going to stand out because it's so unique and unlike everything else that is around it on Instagram. Again, same thing with tomatoes. Lego. Chilies. Popcorn. Yes, this is exactly what it looks like. I stuck my camera inside a popcorn bag, took a photo, pulled it out, and there we have it. Got a great photo. Coins. Golf balls. And finally, we have cards. So, let me ask you something. Have you guys seen any photos like what you've just seen before? No. Yet I'm able to do them so quickly every single day and put out a new post like this that really grabs people's attention and grabs a new audience for me that will then be my die-hard followers because they love what they're seeing. I'm doing this so quickly every day. Another style. I call this the mouth shot. And yes, this is exactly what it looks like. I did this. And I think I used a caption, something along the lines of, "The views in Christchurch, New Zealand are jaw-dropping." Couldn't help myself. So everything we can do to photo, we can also do to video. So I made this little video for Rico a few months back for Valentine's Day. And it's just a short little 30-second video where I really utilized that full 360. It was like a date kind of scenario. And it was a really catchy little Instagram and Facebook post. I just used this little camera here. I just popped it on the ground and we just walked around the camera. And we got this awesome little 30-second video. So again, just a tiny bit of creativity and not a lot of time can lead you to really cool results like this. So the next step in the workflow is color correction. I like to stick to my mobile phone. I don't always like going to my computer. So if you can learn a mobile phone workflow, it's going to save you a lot of time. It means you can get to shooting even faster. So my favorite mobile phone color correction apps are Snapseed, Lightroom Mobile, VSCOcam or VSCOcam, however you say it. And finally, I'll do my final edits in Instagram, just to get those final colors and contrast and dynamic range. So I would strongly suggest these, they're all free. Now I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Instagram, because knowing Instagram and marketing is almost more important than taking pretty photos. Because if you make an amazing photo yet no one sees it, then you're missing out big time because they could be seeing it. So understanding basic social media marketing goes such a long way, and it's almost more important than taking good photos. So my first advice for building a following on Instagram is keep a clear and consistent looking profile. So try to keep it as similar as you can. Try and make your account niche. The more niche you are, the faster you will grow. So if you look at my account here, you'll see it's all 360, it's all tiny planets. So my photos are tiny planets up there, so if people follow me, they know they're probably going to get tiny planets. It's not going to be a tiny planet, a photo of a coffee, a selfie, it's going to be all tiny planets. Also, your bio is very important. Make it as similar to your overall theme as possible, and really consider it, because 15 words makes a big difference in people actually following through on whatever your call to action is. And considering your Instagram profile is actually massive in really getting an audience, because those 15 words are the difference between getting a contract with a big company and not. Only post your best work. This does seem obvious, but a lot of people don't do it. For me, I like to hold a personal standard of what I would say 8 out of 10 or above. For me, I need a post, according to my own personal standards, to be at least 8 out of 10 to post it. Because if I post 7.99 or less, then people will know me as the guy that posts 7.99 or less photos, and they're not going to want to follow me. So for every photo I take, I will throw out about 19 photos, because I only settle for the best, 8 out of 10 or above. Be active on a regular basis. The more active you are, the better. If you can post every single day, that's great. If not, a few times a week, but don't leave it any longer than once a week, because that's how you'll really gain momentum. The more you post, the faster your momentum will grow. Tell a story with everything you do and let people follow it. This one is key. Don't just post a hashtag or an emoji, just a one sentence bio or a caption to your photos allows the audience to follow your story, because those one sentences add up over time, right? They add up to a whole bio of you. Use all 30 hashtags, and I even researched the best hashtags in my niche. Something I noticed when I posted my very first Instagram photo, which was like of a crappy landscape. I used like 30 hashtags right, and I got 50 likes instantly from strangers I didn't know. To me, that was massive. It's like, oh my God, there's actually people discovering my work. How did they find my photo? Oh yeah, that's right, I posted those stupid little hashtags. But they're actually key, because people are searching the hashtags and they're massive for discoverability. I still use them. They're just so important to get them right, and I would suggest researching and maybe even hiring a hashtag expert to find you a really good list of hashtags. Next, I would say try to get your work reposted by the top share accounts in your niche. My niche is 360, and there are probably, I'm going to say 5 to 10 accounts that share all the best 360 and Tiny Planet posts, and they have audiences of 10K plus. So how powerful is that, having your work shown to an audience of 10,000 people? Those are all people that could potentially follow your work. So you do want to try and get those share accounts' attention, because then their audience becomes yours. Interact with your community through likes and comments. The best way to get a like or a comment is by giving a like or a comment. You've got to build a reputation for yourself and become known as a nice guy, nice girl, and really someone that supports and encourages people, not just someone that posts work and expects likes and expects attention. This is crucial. Got to build your reputation. Finally, I'd say share your work as far as possible. It's a shame for you to put so much work into your creative pursuits, your daily photo, and then it only goes to one network. So I will use an app, it's called IFTTT, If This Then That, which then pushes my daily Instagram post to every other social network. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no, sorry, not Instagram, Twitter, 500 Pixels, Flickr, Pinterest, and there are a bunch of other photo apps and websites that you can then push the exact same bit of content to, so you double or triple your audience by doing this. This is massive. Having a good social media strategy is the difference between success and failure, and ultimately, the better marketer is going to win. If two people have the same photographic ability, the best marketer is going to win. Finally, if you want to learn more about Tiny Planets, I wrote an ebook. It's called Life in 360, A Beginner's Guide to Tiny Planet Photography. If you want to learn more about anything you've just seen, I wrote all the best techniques in there, so feel free to check it out. So if you guys don't know, I'm active on social media and I'm posting every single day. I post reviews, tutorials, side-by-side comparisons all the time. So if you do want to learn more about 360, about marketing, all that stuff that I've talked about here, you can learn online. It doesn't have to stop here. So I strongly suggest you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I do have lots and lots of content and information there that will really give you a full 360 education. Also on Instagram, if you want to see an example of my tiny planets and my 360 works and how I market, just go there and copy what I do, and you'll probably get similar results to what I'm doing. Strongly suggest that. Check it out. Also Facebook as well. With that said, just like to thank you all very much for coming and giving me your time, and yeah, feel free to come and ask any questions. Thank you. Appreciate it.